Hello and welcome back to another daily cribbage. Let's see who we get today. Manon. Okay, exciting. And we cut a 4, which is nice and low, so we get to be the dealer first, and we get a interesting option of the flush or the double run. Flush isn't worth enough points because this double run often makes a lot more points. Does our opponent have the ace here? No, they don't, so maybe it's just the 5. Yep, there we go. And this double run makes a lot more points because we've got quite a few 5s in there as well. So 12 points for us and 2 points in the, 2 points in the crib. Pretty nice. And we look down at 7, 8, 8, 5, 2, king. We're getting rid of the king, getting rid of the 7 or the 2. I think we get rid of the 2 because we leave open all the double runs. And an 8 is pretty nice as well. So 12 points whether we had given 7 king away or 2 king away. We make it 25, and we make it 25 in order to bait out all of our opponent's 5s, and hopefully we just get 1 point for the go here. If they don't, then it means our opponent would have had usually a strong hand, because usually means they have an extra 5 left, but in this case just a 2, which combos a little bit with the top card. So after 2 rounds we're quite a bit ahead, and we look down at double ace, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one just looks like double ace. We want to really keep the 4, 5, 6 together. I mean, it's debatable if we want to keep the double ace 4 together, throw away 5, 6 maybe. But I'm just going to keep it simple, throw away double ace. We hit an 8 on top, which is pretty nice. And let's see if we can put this 5, 6 magic 11 to use. It turns out not, but playing the 6 is also an option because we could try and hit the run, but yeah, I don't know actually. Is it better to play the 6 or the 7 there? The 4 is just a bit risky because it allows our opponent to pair 4s that they might keep. Alright, we've got 5, 10, a double 9. I mean, that leaves 4, 7 to discard. That's okay with me. And we are ahead of our milestone here, so we're at 47. We do even hit the 8, which is pretty good. And let's see if our opponent has double 6. No, they've got 6, 5. Presumably not another 6, but they could be trapping a 5 here. They could have 4, 6 left quite easily, or a 3, 4. But no, they just have 3, 7, 5, 6, 7, 3, which is a pretty good hand. Combos with the 8. Okay, 57 plays 49. We look down at double 4, double 8, double king. So we want to get rid of the double 8, I think so. Highest chance to hit a 7. And we even hit the ace, which is really good for us. It's an 8-point top card. And we'll leave the 4. And I don't think it matters here. I think we're going to just get 1 point for this go, and our opponent will get 1 point for a go, no matter how we played it. So that 12-point hand takes us up to 70, and we are in fantastic position. Oh, there is ace to 5 as a run, but there's also a flush. And if we're not throwing away the flush, I think we're throwing away ace 2 or ace jack. I think the flush is very reasonable here. We get to play something like a jack. I played the jack there mostly because I would like our opponent to... I see a line there where our opponent plays a 5, we pair the 5, our opponent plays 10, and the ace in our hand gives us the ace 5 10 magic 11 win 3 cards, so that makes a few more points. Apparently there was better there. We'll come back to that one. Nice simple 10 jack, I think. Is it ace 2? Maybe the ace 2 is better because we keep open the option of hitting double runs in our hand. But this way we keep some magic 12s and 11s. Magic 12 isn't really a thing. It just so happened our opponent played a 9. Okay. And all the kings. Right. This one is probably ace-jack. We get to keep the 6, 8, 9, 10, and this is slightly better than keeping 6, 9, 10 jack because when we hit a 7, it improves to a pretty nice run. So we'll lead to 6. If our opponent goes 9, get to pair the 9. But our opponent has some 7, 8s in hand. We also have some 2, 4s. What does 2, 4 go with? Not sure. Probably not a 7. Somehow a 10. So we get a few points out of that. We're on 108. Opponent's lagging behind at 99. So we're looking like we'll be in good shape to get out either this round or the next round. And this one, I think, is either 5 queen, 7, 8. 4 queen's not too big of a thought because 5 queen is a lot better, I think, but 7, 8's also really good in the crib. I'll just go 5 queen. Because it also keeps the 2-card magic 11, which is always worth keeping in mind, so we get this 31. Every little helps at this stage. Our opponent has, what's that, 9 points? 8 points. And that's game. Say good game and have a little look at the overall scores. We got a few points out of the play. The hands were pretty close and the cribs were completely in our favour. Let's jump back. And here's the hand that I wasn't sure about immediately. We settled on the flush here, the ace 3, 5, jack of hearts. But let's have a look at the position. We're at 74, our opponent's at 60. We're well ahead. We got to our milestone at 70, and it's currently our pawn, so we're trying to extend as far as possible. We would very happily be further ahead in order to mitigate the effects of any bad hands in the future. So anytime we miss out, we'll still be making our milestones, which is really nice contingency for us. So so we want to score as much as possible, really, and extend our lead. So what do we want to throw away from our hand? I chose the flush in the game, and it's not necessarily because it scores the most, actually. It's because it lends itself to a really simple strategy on the play. So when you've got 10, 5, ace, you can always play out your 10 first, double your opponent's 5, and then hopefully get 31 with your ace. And that's really common to see against 5, 10, 10, 10 kind of hands. On the other hand, if we keep a hand like 2, 3, 4, 5, throw away the ace jack, which I suspect is the slightly higher average, higher expected average option, you run into slight problems because let's say you lead either the 3 or the 4, and if your opponent pairs it, then you have to invite your opponent to score lots of points. There's no way around it. If your opponent has a very similar hand to you, you're going to be exchanging runs, and at the end of the day, you might be in a position where you're actually behind going to the next milestone. And that would sort of be a disaster for us. Keeping a slightly more playable hand can be a bit better just in terms of managing the risk. So ace 3, e5, jack has that going for it. Although on average 2, 3, 4, 5 probably has slightly higher expected expected average because it combos with every cut, and it also doesn't play too badly. We could lead a 2, and we sort of avoid some of those situations because if our opponent pairs our 2, we can play out our 5, and we don't have to worry too much about getting into these battles with runs. And maybe that's something to keep in mind for the future. If you keep 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe it's best to lead the 2. But in general, we might start worrying what happens when our opponent plays pairs our 2, maybe they could pair our 5. If the opponent has the exact same hand as us, which isn't very likely, but we're still sort of beating it if we keep the ace 3 5 jack. So maybe it's unnecessary to take these kinds of risks here. So the other thing is that 2-4 as a discard is not particularly safe. If your opponent has a 3 in the crib, it makes a run, and it also makes some 15s usually. Ace-Jack is much safer because the ace doesn't get involved in as many runs. Of course, the jack is a jack, so it's worth an extra point sometimes, but that's not really too much compared to the danger of 2-4. Let's have a look at what the computer says. Okay, so what do we see here? We are looking at the top 2 discards, Ace-Jack versus 2-4. Ace-Jack slightly ahead overall, and that's mostly because of the safety of the crib. So as we can see, Ace-Jack has an average of about 4.3 and 2-4 is about 0.6 worse. But on the other hand, if we discard 2-4, then apparently the average hand is a bit better. And I wasn't expecting that, actually. I thought that the hand was going to be a bit worse, but maybe we can think that we're keeping 6 points in hand, which is a little bit more than 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an always improving hand, and ace 3, 5, jack, I don't think always improves. I think that there's a possibility that we hit an 8 and our hand doesn't improve by many points, but I guess that's only one cut, and I think everything else, yeah, 2s, 4s, 6s, 6s make the ace 3, 5, 6, 15, 7s, 3, 5, 7, 15, 8s miss, 9s hit with the ace 5, 9, 10s, 5, 10. Yeah, I think that, yeah, because of that, actually, we're always improving, and that's why the median score for the 2-4 discard is also 8, compared with the 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason why 2, 3, 4, 5 has such a high median is because, of course, we've got the 2, 3, and we've got the 5, which means that on any 10 cut, we get 8 points. So, it turns out that 2-4 is actually the most aggressive discard, which is nice. That's sort of what we're going for. That's what we'd ideally like, and we don't mind our opponent getting an extra, say, 0.6 in the crib. I guess the only problem is that the crib has a higher variance. You can see that standard deviation for the 2-4 discard is at 3.26 instead of what it could be, 2.73. But I think that this variance is made up for by the variance on the play, slightly. And what I mean by that is there should be, in a perfect world, when we can do all of the analysis, there'll be another column in this, another set of columns in this table where it would say all of the points that we'd expect to get on the play. And I think that the standard deviation for 2, 3, 4, 5 on the play is going to be pretty big. There's a chance that we lose out a lot of points there. And it's for the reasons we discussed before. But we can try and mitigate that by leading a 2. But maybe on average, 2, 3, 4, 5 still plays quite well, so maybe it's okay to keep that. I think that ace 3, 5, jack plays even better though, and it goes in with a really clear strategy. Lead the jack, pair the 5, play the ace, hopefully for 31. And if it goes wrong, we can always bail out and play a 3 or offload our 5 at the right moment. And we always have 3s and aces that are just small cards that we can play whenever we seem to be in trouble if we would play our 5. So I like ace 3, 5 jack on the play. much more than 2, 3, 4, 5. It sort of handcuffs us into playing low cards. So I think that, yeah, it's something that you have to get a lot of experience at to see why 2, 3, 4, 5 can be very dangerous on the play. Most of the time it's fine though. The play doesn't always give that many points, but we're worried about that small percentage of the time when our opponent's able to maximally exploit us. And we're trying to make that chance as small as possible because in the current position that we're thinking about, we are so far in the lead that we want to try and win as many games as we possibly can. You know, I'd say our win rate is well over 50%. We would just want to make it as high as possible, and I think that keeping a3-5 jack is the way to do it. But let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.